Alright then my friends, so in this video I want to talk a little bit about functions in Go. So we've already been using functions a little bit but not really talking much about them. We have this main function which fires automatically when we run the file, and also we have these functions we've used in the past as well. They're built into Go, but we can also create our own functions, which is what we're going to do in this lesson. So let's get rid of those, and what I'm going to do is create just a simple couple of functions up here outside of the main function. And that means that we can use them still inside the main function, but also in the future, if we had other files, we could use them in other files as well. So let's declare our first function, which I'm going to call say greeting. So we say func, and then the name of the function, which I'll call say greeting, and then we specify what parameters or arguments we want to take into this function. So I'm going to take in a string parameter, which I'm going to say is n, and that stands for name, and that is typed to be a string. So this means that we can only ever pass a string as an argument into this function. Alright then, so inside the function itself, now we can just do something. Now all I'm going to do is print something, so fmt.println, and in fact we'll use printf so we can use a formatted string, and I'll say good morning, and then I'm going to say %v so we can output a variable which is n, the name we take in, and also we'll do a new line at the end. Alright then, so that is a simple function, right? I'm also going to create another one which is say bye. So say bye, that also takes in a string which we'll call n, stands for name, and we're going to say over here goodbye, and then output the variable n again. Alright, so let's try calling this function. So all we need to do is inside main, call the function, say greeting, and invoke it. Now at the minute I'm getting an error because we have to pass in this string. So let's pass in a name, which is going to be Mario. And I'm going to call this again. So I'm going to say greeting, and pass in a different name, Luigi. And then also we'll say bye, and then pass in a name, Mario, like so. And the reason these functions are good is because we can basically reuse code over and over and over. We just have to call the function. All right, so let's save this and run the file at the bottom, and we should see 3 statements printed: good morning Mario, good morning Luigi, and goodbye Mario. Awesome, so this works. All right, let me just clear this so we have a bit of room down here. All right, so that's some simple functions. Now if we wanted to, we could also take in multiple arguments instead of just one. So let me do that. I'm going to create another function here, so func, and I'm going to call this cycle names. Now this is going to take in 2 arguments. The first one is going to be a name, which I'll call n, and that is going to be of type slice with strings inside it. The second one is going to be a function. So we can also pass functions in as arguments to other functions. So I'll call that f. That is going to be of type func, and then inside this I'm going to say string to say, look, this function right here must take in a string as that argument. So this kind of matches these functions right here because they take in strings as arguments. So we could potentially pass one of these functions right here into this function as the second argument. All right, so inside here what we're going to do is cycle through this slice, and we're going to fire this function for each item inside this slice, and we can do that because this slice is strings and we pass a string into this function. So let me do this. I'm going to say for, and we don't need the index, so I'll do a little underscore, then v for the value, and then I'm going to say colon equals range, and it's n that we want to cycle through, which is this slice right here. And then inside that for loop, all I want to do is call the function. So I say f and invoke it, but we have to pass in a string. We have that right here, v, because remember, as we cycle through this slice right here, each element is v in the for loop. So all we're doing is calling a function for each element inside an array. So what I could do now is call this function, cycle names, down here, cycle names, like so. Now the first argument, remember, is going to be a slice of strings. So let's create that. I'm going to pass in 3 names: Cloud, Tifa and Barrett. Bonus points if you know where they're from. And then the second argument is going to be say greeting, like that. Now we don't invoke it right here because that's just going to call it right away. All we're doing is passing through a reference of that function, and we invoke it right here inside this cycle named function. So what's going to happen is we're passing this slice through right here. We're going to cycle through that slice, and for each item inside it, we're going to call this sayGreeting function that we also pass through and pass in the name each time. So it's going to call this sayGreeting function for each name. So we should see this printed to the console down here several times. So let's give this a whirl. I'm going to comment out these ones for now, and I'm going to run this file. So let me save it and then run this. And in fact, before we do that, let me duplicate this, and we'll call the say by function, which is this for each item as well. So we're going to run this function for each of these and this function for each of these. So let me save it again and run the file, go run main.go. And we can see all of these good mornings and all of these goodbyes. Awesome. So that's pretty nice, right? All right, so I want to do one more function example, and that's to show you how we can return values from a function, because at the minute our functions right here, all they do is print something to the console. But it might be that in the future you have a function that returns a value to us. So you know, when we use something like, you know, length of some kind of slice, it would return to us a number, and we could store that number in a variable if we wanted to. Well, I want to do something similar. So I'm going to create another function right here, and this is going to be called circle area, and this is going to take in an argument called r, which will be a float 64, so a point number, so something like 5.3, and this stands for the radius right here. And by the way, you see this quite a lot in Go, these single letter characters, especially for arguments. Now sometimes I'm not a fan of that, but for simple functions like this, it really doesn't bother me. Anyway, this is going to return a value, right? So we say return something or other. Now it's going to return the area of the circle, and to work that out we need pi, the value, and then we times that by r squared, so r times itself. Now we can get pi from the math package, so I can import it up here like this. Math, this is from the standard library, so down here I could say math dot pi, so that's a constant on this math library, and we times that by r and then times it by r again. And this right here, this is the formula for the area of a circle. Now we're getting an error at the minute, and that's because we're returning this value, but we don't specify in the function signature, if you like, itself, that we are returning a value. And if we do return a value, we have to say what type we're returning right here before the curly braces open. So I'm going to say we're going to return a float 64, and now that error goes away. So this right here is the return type. All right. Okay then, so let's call this function. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say A1 for area 1, and I'm going to initialize that to be equal to circle area, and then pass in some kind of value for the radius 10.5. So remember, this returns a value, this thing right here, and when it returns it, we're now storing it inside A1. I'm going to duplicate that and call this A2 and pass in a different number over here. I'm just going to say 15. Doesn't matter that this is a float 64. This can be a float as well, just 15. And now let's log those out. So I'm going to say fmt dot print line and then A1 and A2. So we're printing both of those out. Oops, need to put my end parenthesis on right here. So let me save this now and run it down here. And now we can see these two numbers right here. So these are the areas of the circles with these radiuses. All right, so there's a lot of decimal places right here. So I might want to output them to 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places instead. So let's do a formatted string to do that. So fmt dot printf to print a formatted string. And then inside here, I'm going to say circle 1 is, and then %0.3f to output a float, and circle 2 is, and then %0.3f to output a float. So now these will be to 3 decimal places. All right then, so we need to pass in A1 and A2 as well for this and this. Save it and run this once more. And now we can see this looks a bit better. So hopefully now you understand how we can create these functions to reuse bits of code.